In today's video, I'm going to show you how people get you involved in cults without you even knowing it. So, cults. There's religious cults, there's sex cults, there's spiritual cults, self-help cults. There's also good cults as well too. But how they get you to buy into a cult, people kind of think that person was highly intelligent. How the hell did they end up in a spiritual cult where they were branding each other? Well, it's actually rather easy. So I'm going to show you what they do. So let's get into it. So cults will identify certain people. Okay, so they'll be highly intelligent. They will be, let's say, looking for greater things in life, looking for better meaning, better purpose, group mentality. They'll have trauma. They'll have issues with their life. Things won't be working out, lacking purpose, relationships breaking down. They'll be a bit lost. They may be isolated. There'll be all the different things about this certain type of person, but they'll naturally be really intelligent. This is the funny thing, is that you kind of think, God, you used to be a CEO of a company and now you're wearing all white and branding yourself. It's like, yeah, that's what happens. Okay. So, because everyone's got problems in life. Everybody has, everybody has insecurities. Everybody, no matter who you're looking at, they are insecure at some level. Okay. So these cults will actually target a certain type of person. And then what they'll do is they won't tell you, oh, let's join a cult. They have this they'll have a mask. They have this thing that's either a self-help kind of thing or a new way or find your purpose or woman's embodiment thing or some kind of spiritual kind of whatever kind of course to self-realization, whatever it is, right? So that's the entry door in. But what they'll do is they'll sit down with you and someone like me and they'll have a list of questions. So what I'm trying to do there is I'm trying to get you to elicit who you are as a person. I'm trying to get you to what do they call it? It's an identity statement. It's the agreement statement. So if I have these 45 odd questions, which states that what kind of person that you are. I think I'm highly intelligent. I think I'm empathetic. I love self-awareness. I love EQ. I think it's important. Relationships are really important to me. Family is really important to me. Great connections are really important to me. But they'll have all these kinds of different questions to lead you in a place of you agreeing to what kind of person you are. So they might have, say, 45 questions, and all of a sudden I've gone through and answered yes to all these questions about who I am as a person. At that point in time, they know that they've got you. And you don't realize that. You just think you're actually talking about what kind of person that you are. They have, at that moment in time, got you by the whatever to make the next level. So once I get you to have this identity statement about who you are as a person, what I will then do is I'll create a villain. I'll create a villain outside, not usually a person, but a system or a process or the big bad world or the government or whatever it is, to say, this is why you're oppressed. This is why this has happened. This is, you're fighting against the system. You're fighting against reality. You're fighting against whatever it is, right? I'll create a villain to give you some kind of empathy to the fact that this is why things haven't been working for you. And then I'll have some charismatic thing about, I'll tell you about a story, and I'll story about how I was where you were. And I was in a place which was quite dark. I didn't know where to go. I tried all these things. They all failed. But then I found this. And this filled the gap to get me to where I am right now. And look at my life. My life is fantastic. Look at my 3 kids. Look at this is our holiday in Bali. We're having a great time. And look at this is where we were normally divorcing, 18 months ago. Now we're having great holidays. We're more connected, having more intimacy. The kids are happy and all that kind of stuff. So what I've done there is I've created a bond through what's called mirror neurons, right? And so mirror neurons create a bond, which is oxytocin and serotonin. And on purpose, I'm telling that story to you so you bond with me in an emotional state that you can see yourself in my story. And then you have an emotional connection with that. So not only have I got you to agree to who you are, I've now connected you into my story to see yourself in my story. And then at that stage, I can then come back to reinforce your identity, and then I have the process on top of that and say, okay, here's the new process. So in the new process, I'll have a new name or a new model or something like that. It's the flamingo process of self-realization, right? And in that, we do these things which nobody else does, and you learn these things. So then I'm just throwing dopamine into your body going, oh, there's something new, because I know you've said that you love to learn, and it's important to you. So I'm pushing that into your system, creating dopamine, because dopamine is about the chase. It's about chasing the realization of something, right? Because what happens when you, let's say, for example, you're chasing 1 million followers, dopamine is working until you get to that point of chasing it. And when you get to 1 million followers, the dopamine goes, oh, and you have this slowdown, right? That's the dopamine chase, right? So all of a sudden you've got dopamine about learning something new. You've got the story, you've got the mirror neurons, you've got oxytocin, serotonin running through your body, and dopamine. You've identified yourself as this type of person right at this stage. All I have to do at that point is say, here's the offer. And humans are very strange creatures because we will go with a bad option because we don't want to look stupid about who we identify with. So if we've actually said this is who we are, even though evidence says out there this is probably a cult, and remember the cult won't go all culty at the start. It'll bring you in as like a very small thing, like a $97 product or a $297 or $97. It's a starter thing, right? Because they want to do the ascension model to you, right? So once you get in, then they'll sell more and more and more stuff to you. But what they'll do is they'll create this thing where you're so locked into your identity that as humans, it's so hard for us to say, no, we don't want to, because that's not who we are. We'll rather say yes to something to keep the identity rather than look like an idiot and say that's not who we are and look ashamed. So all they do at that point in time is say, who do you want to be? Do you want to be this, or do you want to be your old self? So use contrast again. Do you want to keep going through the life that you've lived now? Or do you want to join us into a new life, or 7-figure businesses, or financial freedom? Like the business coach is full of these places. And at that point in time, you may have a little bit of resistance. You don't want to do it, but it's too hard to say no, because you've already said this is who you are. Even though there's friction there, you'll just go with, yeah, I'll sign up to this. And what they'll do is they'll have these, moments in time where, yeah, welcome aboard. This is great. The best decision of your life. Can't wait to join. And you have all these group stuff. So they'll bring the group around you to reinforce the fact that you're now part of a group. Because again, as human beings, we love connection. We love to be accepted by other people. And we do have these small wins. So you'll have these small wins. And then all around you have everyone cheering you on. And then you're in a cult. And all of a sudden you're getting branded in some kind of sex cult because it just gets too far and too far and too far, because once you're in, it's hard to get out because they shame you into place of just getting out about, well, I thought you were in self. Because they'll do that. They'll re-come back to your identity about, well, I thought you said you were about this. Are you not about this anymore? And again, oh, no, that's who I am. But again, they'll make more things about villains and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I saw this in the business coaching space of a guy here in Australia. Very unethical. When I saw at the end, it was really not good. So it was a 3-day course, and people who will listen to this story will probably know who it is. I won't mention any names, but at the end of it, there's always tables, about 100 people in the room, and it was about 40, 50 grand, I think, the course for 12 months. And they had some people that were planted in the audience, which unfortunately I knew about. And at the end of the thing is, okay, who wants to sign up for this? Who wants to create 7 figures in their business? Who wants to be part of this new, way to do stuff? We've spent 3 days with you. We're invested in you. We've told you everything we know. The next part to creating 7 figures is to jump on this, because we're going to teach you so much. We're going to handhold you, and going through the whole spiel. And then 3 or 4 or 5 people stood up. It's like, I'm in. And then what happens at that point in a room of 100 people is that because people are stepping up and saying, I'm in, and then what will happen is the person who's leading it will start to target the people who are still sitting down and go, Greg, I thought you were in. We just talked about this. I thought you were really serious about being 7 figures. You've said to me that your business is important. Your family is important to you. Your kids are important to you. Your freedom is important to you. What's not working for you to actually sign up to this? Right? So what they'll do is they'll shame you. They'll have the tribe mentalism where they'll have everybody else standing up, and they'll just keep chanting at you to the point where at that point you've identified who you are. You've reinforced who you are. They're going at you, everybody else. Everybody else is going, yes, we're in. You just stand up at that stage. You just stand up, even though you don't want to, because they know that if they push those buttons psychologically and emotionally about your identity and being part of the tribe, that you're going to sign up anyway. So that was completely unethical, and it happened across the board. And this person doesn't do it now, but this person did it over and over and over again. I saw it over and over. It's like, my God, you were just manipulating people to buy a course through psychological warfare, and you're not telling them. That's unethical. And I saw it. So, and that's what they do. So that's how you join cults. It's a playbook that's very easy. It's like certain people, it's the identity, it's the story, it's the villain, it's the process. Reinforce that, put the offer out there. You're in at a low level. Once you're in, create the group so you feel part of the group, so you can't get out. Create more villains. Ascend model, playbook 101. So again, people, I'll keep saying, if we want human behavior change, we can't do it the way we're doing it today. Everyone's trying to change human behavior by the intellect, information, and knowledge. There's so much information out there online, yet we're broken as ever, is because we're trying to change human behavior through intellect, through the prefrontal cortex. It doesn't happen that way. It never will. You need to learn a process or a system that actually targets the place of the brain that influences behavior. We are emotional, feeling, hormonally driven beings. We make every decision based on that. We justify it with logic. But if you don't tackle that and the way you see the world and the way you perceive the world, then you'll never get the way of changing human behavior or influencing the way that you actually tackle your life, right? So if you want to know this, learn this, reach out. I'll put my link below, and I look forward to teaching you more stuff about dodgy cults. Okay, see you later.